Welcome to my YouTube channel, Surowicz Watercolor. At any time during this video, you can click on the icon in the lower right hand corner and subscribe to my channel. This is a short demonstration on how to create a stormy watercolor sky. I'm going to be doing this demonstration on an 8 by 10 inch sheet of 140 pound cold press watercolor paper. And the three colors that I'll be using are royal blue, cerulean blue, and quinacridone burnt orange. I've drawn a very simple sketch of an imaginary seascape, and I've already applied a wash of clear water to my paper in the area where the sky is. I'm going to begin working upside down. I'm working with a round wash brush, and I'm applying royal blue. It's a light middle value mixture that I'm putting down. And because I've already saturated the paper with clear water, you can see how the paint is flowing and starts to diffuse. And because I'm working at a 20-degree angle, the paint is flowing down towards the bottom of the page at the moment because of gravity. Because this paper is saturated, I have plenty of time to manipulate the area by adding paint, taking away paint, spraying it with a bottle, lifting. There's a lot of different things I can do here. And until this paper starts to get to a damp condition, I'm really not at risk of creating blossoms. And I'm going to be turning this board back over now. And this is our composition. On the right side we have what would be like a cliff and some rocks and a couple trees, and we have the sea to the left, and then we have our stormy sky. What I want to create here is the feeling that this is a dense cloud cover. We're not seeing puffy clouds with blue sky peeking through, or we've got a very dense cloud cover. The ceiling is very dense, and we can see the bottoms of some of these clouds, and they basically start to form layers as you go back in space, but you can see the bottoms coming down. And to try and create that feeling, I'm going to be using a lot of horizontal brush strokes. And while this cloud is very dense and somewhat dark as it's close to us, on the horizon I want to create a gradation to a light value. So I'm going to be picking up some of that paint with my tissue towards the bottom as I develop this area, because gravity is going to pull the wash that I'm putting in down into that area now that I've turned the painting up right. But I want to keep this nice gradation, so it's just a balance of give and take as I develop the area. To try and suggest that there's some volume to this and some shapes going on here in this dense body of clouds, I'm going to be using some shifts in value as I am here. I'm going a little darker with my blue, and I'll be using some shifts in color temperature. I'm going to start to work in some of that quinacridone burnt orange mixed with a little of the royal blue, and that'll also create some contrast and help give some volume to what's going on in this. I switched to a smaller brush. Now I'm using a number 4 round sable to be a little more precise with some of the application of the paint. And there's no secret formula to where I'm putting the paint right now. I'm just trying to create that feeling of this dense ceiling of clouds, and I'm using these horizontal brush strokes to try and indicate the base of these clouds that we're seeing. Now I want to bring in some warmer tones, so I've added more quinacridone burnt orange to some of the royal blue, and it's giving me this kind of a warm neutral, and that creates that temperature contrast in these clouds, and it helps make it feel kind of stormy. I've thoroughly dried this, and you can see how much lighter it is now. So I'm going to come back in on top of this, and I'm working wet on dry at the moment, but I'm going to come in and I'll soften these a little bit with a spray But here again, I'm trying to give the suggestion that you're seeing the base of these clouds in this mass of cloud cover. So direction plays a big part of this with the direction of my brush strokes and these horizontal marks that I'm making. They're suggesting the base of those clouds. And here you can see I've softened that with the spray. So when you get this type of cloud, you have you see the base of the clouds and some kind of clouds kind of hanging down, and you get some of these neutral tones in them, these kind of warm and cool gray tones. So I'm achieving those with the mixtures of royal blue and quinacridone burnt orange, and I have put in a little bit of cerulean blue as I've continued to paint here. I've thoroughly dried this once again. You can see it's dried lighter, and we have a variety of warm and cool tones in there. I want you to see how that horizon line would be contrasted in actual painting. So I'm going to develop this a little bit farther, just playing around, just putting in some paint here to suggest the sea and the land and some trees, just to try and put that stormy sky in context so you can see how it plays against some objects in a landscape. So I'm just using some broken edge techniques here to suggest the sea. But you can see that horizon line, how it's a very light value. And as you move up to the sky, you can see that horizontal element in the sky, and you can see there's some warm and there's some cool gray tones, and that gives it that kind of stormy feel. It's not bright colors in the sky, it's that kind of gray overcast. Now I've dried the area that is my sea, and I'm going to paint some of the rocky ledges here. So I'm just using some of the quinacridone burnt orange with the royal blue, and I'll actually use a little bit of sap green here, which I didn't list at the beginning of this video, just to paint the trees. But I'm just trying to suggest some of these landscape elements just to help illustrate how this stormy sky would play out in an actual little painting. So we're not getting real detailed or anything here. I'm just blocking in some shapes and some value so we can see that contrast. Here I'm going to take some of this sap green that's toned down with a little bit of burnt orange and just give an indication of some trees here on this rocky ledge. And you can see how that the hard edge of the trees contrast that kind of softness in the stormy sky. And these tones here are a little brighter that are closer to us in these trees against that neutral sky. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an indication how you might develop an actual painting. This is just a little study, but you develop that kind of a stormy sky, and you start to build your layers in the rest of your landscape as you move through your painting process. I want to create some stronger contrast, so I've added some royal blue to deepen the value here. Just going to touch these trees and give an indication of some shadowed rocks there on the left side. And I want to strengthen this area here to make this feel more like it's in the foreground here with some darker values, stronger color. And I contrast our stormy sky. So the whole goal is to paint this stormy sky in watercolor, but I wanted to develop this a little further so you can see how that would play out in an actual painting. So there we have a stormy sky. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my videos or learn more about my online courses, you can click on one of the boxes on the screen.